charming. Pet guru. How tight a cat collar should be in 2024. Knowing how tight a cat collar should be isn't just about their comfort, it's also really important for keeping them safe and making sure features like the breakaway buckle work well. Usually, I check that the collar is tight enough so it doesn't swing loosely, but I avoid making it too tight to avoid any discomfort for my cat. Why is this so important? If the collar is too loose, it can cause some issues. The space between the collar and my cat's body might catch on things when they're exploring, activating the breakaway safety feature and causing the collar to come off. A loose collar might even get stuck in my cat's mouth, and it can bother them as it rubs against their fur while they move. On the flip side, I'm mindful not to make the collar too tight. An overly tight collar can make my cat uneasy and put unnecessary pressure on their delicate neck area. I suggest adjusting the collar so that I can fit one fingertip between it and my cat's body. This way, I find the perfect balance, tight enough to stay on and keep them safe, yet not too tight, making sure my cat stays super comfy all the time. How to measure your cat's neck. When I'm measuring my cat's neck for a collar, I like to keep it hassle-free. I usually grab a flexible tape ruler, similar to what tailors use, or use a simple piece of string. I gently wrap the tape or string around my cat's neck, ensuring it's a snug fit without being too tight. Once I find the right fit, I mark where the ends meet. After that, I lay the string on a flat surface and measure to the marked point using a standard ruler or tape measure. I remind myself that it doesn't have to be super precise because the collar will be tailored based on a range around the measurements I provide. This way, I can ensure a perfect fit for my furry friend. What's the proper way to adjust a cat collar? The way I make sure my cat's collar fits just right is by doing it when it's not on their neck. Getting the perfect size can take a bit of practice, so I always adjust the collar before putting it on. This way, I avoid my cat getting annoyed with me while I try to get the size right and ask them to stand still. If my cat is switching from another collar, I use that one to measure. If not, I estimate the collar length by putting it around my cat's neck without closing it. Then, I use this as a guide to adjust the collar length and try again. It's really important for me to check and adjust my cat's collar fit regularly because it might change as they gain or lose weight, or due to seasonal changes in the thickness of their coat. Check out our guide on how to measure a cat for a harness for more tips. How can you determine if a cat collar is too tight? When I want to make sure my cat's collar is just right, I take a moment to gently slide one fingertip between their neck, with the fur flattened, and the collar. If it feels a bit challenging to do so, that's a clear sign that the collar is too tight. In those cases, I always make a point to take it off and provide a bit more room to ensure my cat's comfort. Another clue that the size might be off is if I face difficulty in comfortably closing the collar without the risk of pinching my cat's neck. For that ideal fit, my goal is to be able to fit one fingertip, up to the first knuckle, between the collar and my cat's neck. This ensures a snug yet comfortable fit. Additionally, I pay attention to the collar's ability to move slightly around my cat's neck without causing any resistance. These details assure me that my cat's collar is not only safe but also comfortable for them in every possible way. How tight should a flea collar be on a cat? When I'm putting a flea collar on my cat, I make sure it's nice and snug, just like I would with a regular collar, because their safety comes first. To check if it fits right, I use the one fingertip trick I mentioned earlier. It's an easy way to see if the collar is just right. If it's tough to slip my fingertip in, it means the collar is too tight, so I loosen it right away. On the other hand, if there's more space than a fingertip between my cat's neck and the collar, I adjust it until it fits snugly. I've found that this snug fit is not only the safest but also the most comfortable for my cat. Since there are lots of different types and styles of flea collars out there, I always read the instructions carefully for specific fitting tips. And if I ever feel unsure or have questions, I don't hesitate to ask my local vet. They're always ready to help and make sure my cat stays healthy and happy. Do cat collars make my cat uncomfortable? Ensuring my cat's comfort with collars involves fitting them right and introducing them slowly. Cats are creatures of habit, so bringing something new into their routine can be a bit unsettling initially. But taking it step by step can help ease the transition for my kitty. If you're interested in understanding your cat's behavior, you might want to explore why your cat is obsessed with you. Now, when it comes to the fit, it's crucial to get it just right. While it might be tempting to leave the collar loose, it's comparable to wearing a watch. Imagine that watch sliding around on your wrist all the time, irritating, isn't it? Well, it's the same for my cat with a loose collar. Instead of staying in one place, it moves around on their fur, and that sensation can bother them. Moreover, if there's too much room, they might attempt to paw or bite the collar off, turning it into an uncomfortable experience for both of us. So, getting the fit spot on is not just about comfort but also about ensuring my cat feels secure and content with their new accessory. Do I have to take off my cat's collar at night? Nope, there's absolutely no need to remove my cat's collar when the night falls. Once I've found that perfect fit and my cat is genuinely content with their collar, they can keep it on 24/7. That means they should be not just fine but also comfortable enough to doze off with it. Of course, there might be occasions when taking off the collar becomes necessary, like during cleaning sessions, vet appointments, or when administering treatments. Some collars come with special care instructions and should be taken off before applying flea or worming treatments to my cat. Additionally, there might be advice to remove the collar for vaccinations in the collar area or if my cat happens to love water, but the collar isn't water resistant. So, overall, I let my cat revel in the comfort of their collar, only taking it off when it's genuinely needed for specific situations. Why I put a collar on my cat. Number 1. Easy identification for outdoor adventures. Whenever my curious cat decides to explore the outdoors, I always make sure to give them a collar with an ID tag. On that tag, I carefully include my phone number, address, and last name. Some owners like to put their cat's name, but for extra safety, I usually skip it. Even if my cat already wears a collar, I take an extra step by getting them microchipped, and I proudly note it with an "I'm chipped" message on the tag. If there's enough space, I might even think about adding an extra phone number for more safety. Number 2. Access to cat flaps and feeders. In the world of cat flaps and automatic feeders that need a tag for access, my cat has to wear a collar with that important tag. Number 3. Keeping fleas away. To keep away those annoying fleas and make sure my cat stays comfortable, I often choose the practical solution of a flea collar. Number 4. Reducing wildlife encounters. From my own experience, I've found that collars with bells or colorful covers that easily slip over my cat's collar can really scare away wildlife. This clever addition not only gives a stylish touch but also really reduces the chances of my cat catching birds or small rodents during their outdoor adventures. What is the safest collar for a cat? When it comes to choosing a collar for my cat, safety is my top priority. I want to make sure that if my cat ever gets caught or stuck while exploring, the collar won't cause harm. That's why I highly recommend collars with a quick release or snap opening. This feature ensures that if my cat's collar gets snagged, it will easily pop open, releasing my cat and avoiding any potential harm or entanglement. I steer clear of elasticated collars, even though they were once thought to be safe. I've learned that they can do more harm than good. If my cat gets stuck in one, they might end up using their paw to free themselves, leading to more entanglement. Opting for a quick release collar is a much better choice for my cat's well-being and safety. I also pay attention to the quality of the collar, making sure there's no loose stitching or decorations like studs or gems that could become a choking hazard if they come off. Additionally, I find collars with reflective strips helpful in making my cat visible at night, especially around roads and traffic. Can collars cause injuries? When it comes to collars, keeping my cat safe is a top priority. It's crucial to be aware that if not handled properly, collars can sometimes lead to injuries. Here are a few reasons why injuries might occur. Hair loss. My cat could experience hair loss if they react to a chemical in a flea collar or if the collar rubs against their neck. This can be uncomfortable for them and affect their skin. Getting caught. There's a risk of my cat getting a loose collar caught around their lower jaw or having their front leg stuck through a loose collar. This situation could lead to a painful and serious injury in the armpit area. Strangulation. Poorly made collars, especially those that don't break open when hooked on something, pose a risk of strangulation. This is a serious concern for my cat's safety. Injuries usually occur when a collar is fitted poorly, made inadequately, or is of low quality. Therefore, I make sure to pay close attention to the quality of the collar and how I put it on my cat to minimize the risk of injuries and ensure their safety and well-being. Conclusion. Finding the ideal tightness for your cat's collar is crucial for their comfort and safety. As a responsible cat owner, regularly check and adjust the collar to ensure it remains snug but not too tight. Opting for a quick-release collar adds an extra layer of safety, reducing the risk of injury. Remember, your cat's well-being is the top priority, and a properly fitted collar contributes to their comfort and security, whether indoors or venturing outdoors. If you're curious about other aspects of cat behavior, check out our article on why your cat sleeps with its mouth open.